YouTubies to the first Nerdy 9 video from Nerd Talk TV. I'm Dylan, here with the fat guy.
That is rude. Wade, he called you fat.
I know. It just hurt my soul right now, man.
Wade, you're the skinniest fuck. Here, shut up.
I'm gonna get on a treadmill and never stop running, Dylan.
And then you're gonna become nothing. You're gonna be two-dimensional.
I can be a cartoon character. That would be an improvement.
We've already gotten off topic, guys.
Already, it's all Wyatt's fault. Wyatt and Wade are here, guys. You know Wyatt, the fat guy, and Wade, the editor.
See, look, he just gave you a job title.
Just went from fat guy to editor. How is that even a title?
Oh, actually, Wade, the affiliate.
The affiliate?
What?
Yes.
The affiliate.
He's not like a news anchor or anything like that.
He's the affiliate. That's what we came up with the last video.
I don't watch your videos at all.
You're part of this.
Thanks for the love.
It's only been up for 8 hours.
References
it's okay.
to things that just came out.
Alright, so today for the first Nerdy 9 list, we will be doing comic book movies. Well, more like superhero movies, and we're going to start at number 9.
You completely forgot to go over the rules. What do we say qualified as a superhero movie for this list?
Anything that has a comic book basis.
And is live action.
And
is live action and is not a graphic novel. So movies like Watchmen, Sin City don't count.
So for number 9, we all collectively came up with Hellboy.
And by we, you mean me and Wade, because you're.
It wasn't on my list.
How is it not on your list? It's like
because there's other. I didn't think of Hellboy as a superhero movie.
Elaborate. I need to know why.
You are wrong. Hellboy is one of the most well done superhero movies. It's all live action. Everything. There's no CGI in the movie anywhere.
Really?
Yeah. That's there in both Hellboy movies. There's only 3 things that are CGI.
What,
you
the
have
monster CGI?
No.
Oh.
You have the Tooth Fairies, and most of the CGI is the second one. The Tooth Fairies are CGI. The Spectre guy,
I was thinking of the
he's
second
CGI,
one.
and the Titan are all CGI. 3 things are CGI in the entire.
That giant plant thing is not CGI?
That's the Titan.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Everything else is literally physical things that they built.
Okay.
The dogs from the first one
definitely deserves that number 9 spot then.
Well, I just didn't. It didn't.
No, you're an asshole.
It didn't present itself to me as a superhero movie. More like a occult detective movie.
Superhero.
Detective. I mean, it spends most of the movie beating shit up rather than figuring things out.
Well, you got Abe before. Abe, do smart things.
Oh, good. He's got superpowers, so obviously, superhero movie.
Yeah. It's also one of the only things on our list where the cartoons and the live action movies have the same cast and are all canon together.
And they're kind of the same level of quality too, like the same amount of work was put into each.
I'm not saying I didn't like Hellboy. I really liked Hellboy. I just didn't. It didn't present itself to me as a superhero movie. All right, number 8. You can all see we don't all agree because Wyatt's an asshole.
I'm not an asshole. You're an asshole. What's number 8?
Number 8, Batman '89, the Michael Keaton Batman with Jack Nicholson as the Joker. I just really like Jack Nicholson as the Joker. He's the personification of the zany Joker.
Right.
The funnier side of the Joker.
Yeah, he's more of the funny, let's see what we can get away with. It's also more of the gang, the Joker gang too. Mm-hmm. And come on, who doesn't enjoy genuine Joker products?
He just shoots the one guy who's his right-hand man.
I think that's what really made that particular movie, just the way they portrayed the villain more so than anything else, simply because it was the definitive comic book style Joker instead of, the more recent ones where he's essentially just an anarchist with makeup.
Right, yeah. It was more, and it's also one of the first superhero movies we've all seen, because that came out, a few years before most of us were born, so we kind of grew up with that style of Batman. So it was like that, Batman Returns, and then the Schumacher ones with
we do
Jim
not speak
Carrey,
that. That'll be a completely other list.
Batman Forever.
Unluckily for me, I saw the Schumacher ones first. I got
really?
dicked over in that category, man.
You just need to chill out, Batman.
Robin, I think, was the
what killed the dinosaurs?
The Ice Age.
Oh God.
So we're on number 7.
Yes, number 7, Captain America: Winter Soldier.
Another movie on the list that technically isn't a superhero movie. It's a
Yeah,
spy thriller.
But Captain America is a superhero.
So doesn't that kind of negate that whole Hellboy conversation we just had? Since
Exactly.
It's a spy movie, but he's a superhero.
Exactly. The whole movie is a spy thriller. It's not a superhero movie. It's a spy thriller. But it's on the list because it has Captain America. Just like Hellboy's on the list because it has Hellboy.
I just don't. I see Hellboy as a demon, not a superhero, because he's a demon.
I don't know. We have like aliens that are technically superheroes, like Martian Manhunter.
Martian Manhunter.
We don't have him on the list though.
I know, but I'm just saying, like that in a way makes you a superhero. Like Superman is really just an alien. He only has superpowers because he's on Earth. So
exactly, just like Hellboy only has superpowers because he's in the real world.
And then X-Men only have superpowers because they're mutants, like genetically.
They were born that way, as Lady Gaga would say.
Mm-hmm.
They were born that way.
Anyways, but Captain America: Winter Soldier.
It's a great movie. It's a spy thriller. It changes what you expect to go into for a summer blockbuster superhero movie. It's less guy beating up villain as more Captain America fighting an organization. There's not a unified villain, even though most people would say it's the Winter Soldier, but it's not really.
No, there's some conflict in his own brain there. Also, with Winter Soldier coming out, it made the show Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. a lot better.
Number whatever the fuck we're on.
And we skipped
6.
Wade on that because Wade didn't see Winter Soldier.
Shame on me.
Wade, he had input. So we're on number 5?
6. Number 6.
X-Men
First Class. For me, X-Men First Class was the movie that was like, X-Men can still be a good franchise. It definitely undid some of the damage that X3 and X-Men Wolverine Origins did.
Technically, that would be Days of Future Past that undid that.
Well, like, undid it. Future Past undid it, but X-Men First Class was like, no, these movies are still good.
Well, it was their way of rebooting the franchise in a way that didn't affect the previous movie, which is really good. Especially when you consider movies like The Amazing Spider-Man wiped out
the Tobey Maguire
Spider-Man, yeah. Just like, Batman Begins wiped out Batman.
Oh, yeah.
And just like we're going to see that, the new Spider-Man is going to wipe out Amazing Spider-Man. The new Batman versus Superman is going to wipe out The Dark Knight. That kind of thing.
Just like reiterations of the same plots.
Right. And here it's like we get a little bit more background on what's happening with these characters and still know where they're going to end up. Which is why I think it's a great way to reboot a franchise without affecting the main story.
Unlike, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which changes things up once a decade at the least. It's like they'll switch.
It's less than
once
a decade. Because you have like the 2000 animated movie. And that was like in 09, 010.
And then now we've got that Nicktoons show already. Just
well, that's been out for like 3 years now.
That's on season 3. And then you have the new Michael Bay produced.
I don't think that's going to go anywhere.
They're working on the sequel.
Oh, good.
So let's not go there.
We're not going there. But Wade, why is First Class? Why does that make it up there for you?
For me, it makes it up there because it sort of has that same feel that the first original X-Men movie did. It's got that classical feel. You got the superheroes there. They're just figuring things out for themselves, and it's got that same concept. Where these kids, they're essentially figuring out how they're going to find their place in the world with these differences from regular society and how they're going to make things work.
All right, so that brings us to number 5. Speaking of Amazing Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man.
I think the reason why this is up there, especially on this list, is that most of us grew up with the 90s cartoon version of Spider-Man. And the Amazing Spider-Man is that version. He's not the socially awkward Tobey Maguire Peter Parker.
He's not the dorky dancing either.
No,
he's the
wisecracking, smart-ass Spider-Man.
Exactly.
He's supposed to be.
Yeah, Tobey made a better Peter, but he made a horrible Spider-Man. The dorkiness worked for the Peter character, but after he got the powers, he's supposed to be, different. Like, even in the 60s series, he became a different person after he got the powers. He was, not giving a shit about the bullies.
My big problem with Tobey Maguire Spider-Man was that he was too socially awkward. And watching the cartoon, Peter Parker's never quite socially awkward. He's more of an outcast than he is socially awkward. You know what I mean?
In the original 60s series, he was socially awkward right before he got the powers, but after that he gained confidence just because he had the powers, so he was no longer socially awkward. It's like something he grew out of almost instantly, whereas with Tobey Maguire, that's maintained even after he gets the powers.
He's like, oh man,
I can't be Spider-Man. It's so hard being Spider-Man.
You're gonna go be emo over here.
Essentially, we like the Amazing Spider-Man because it was just a hell of a lot better than the first 3 Spider-Man movies. That's more or less. All right, so number 4, the movie that started the MCU, Iron Man.
I don't know if it would say
It is. It's the first
started.
movie. It's the first movie.
I mean, it's the first movie in the thing, but it came out before they announced that they were going to do the MCU.
Yeah, but it was the thing that got everyone excited that we would eventually get to an Age of Ultron movie with that end credit scene of Nick Fury in Iron Man's house. I want to talk to you about the Avengers Protocol. Like Iron Man is the movie that was like, things are going to happen.
Yeah.
Spearheaded the concept that there was going to be a crossover between each series.
Right, it started that ball rolling. I don't know, it wasn't really that strong in Iron Man. I like it because it's an origin story for a character that isn't a character that
gets a lot of airtime, essentially.
Exactly. It's not like Spider-Man, who has a cartoon show. It's not like the X-Men that had a cartoon show and had a bunch of movies.
Well, Iron Man had a bad cartoon.
It was
show.
terrible. The colors were just off, and oh god, the voice acting. You know.
That's what I'm saying. He's not.
But also, you got to remember,
character.
at the time that Iron Man came out was, in the comic books, Tony Stark's lowest point, because this was during Civil War, and everybody hates Iron Man in Civil War.
True.
So the movies actually made Iron Man a popular character again.
And it's also one of the first movies where we get a superhero movie that's not wearing some type of black plastic leathery thing. Spandex suit.
And it was really fun to see his progression into the suit. Like him actually making it.
In some ways, Robert Downey Jr. has kind of been typecast into that character ever since.
Yeah, but he's totally okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to ride the money train.
I mean, that, and he even shows up, at kids' little charity events and
they all do,
just as himself.
And if you think about it, the reason why I think Robert Downey Jr. makes the best Iron Man and will always be the best Iron Man, I don't give a shit.
No, I don't think anyone else could ever play Iron Man.
His life mirrors Tony Stark so well. You have this point of really high success, and then you have this downward spiral due to drugs and alcohol, and then this dramatic comeback when he sobers up.
And also, the guy's a total chameleon, so he's got that whole, multiple personality thing going on the same way that a regular person and a superhero version of a person would have.
Right.
Not that Tony Stark makes a difference between...
Nah, he's still a snarky asshole no matter what he's in.
I was going to say, he doesn't hide the fact that he's Iron Man. He's like,
I'm Iron Man. Bro.
So that brings us to number 3, The Dark Knight.
I'm Batman.
Obviously, the reason this is on the list is not because of Christian Bale's performance as Batman, but Heath Ledger's Joker.
I don't know about that.
For me, that's why it's on the list.
It really sold the concept of the Joker as more of a realistic way. I mean, if someone were to be crazy in the same way the Joker would be in the comic series, that's how they would be when given that sort of set of mental condition in real life.
We're getting away from
less of the comic and more of reality.
Well, not even less of the comic. We're getting to that point in the comics where the Joker became less campy, jokey, zany fun, and more
actually doing some damage.
Just for the sake of doing so. Too.
It's also, I think, on the list because it's one of the first movies that shows that we can have a darker superhero movie and still make money. And it's the reason. This is the reason why we're getting movies that are gonna be those hard R movies. Like we can show horrible things happening, and then we'll show how the city recovered in the next one and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So I guess that just brings us to number 2, Guardians of the Galaxy. I am Groot. That's all I'm gonna say.
That can't be all you're gonna say, man. You can't have 3 words.
He says 4 words, actually. You think about
then he says we are Groot. But, I mean, for me, that was just another great team-up movie.
It's not necessarily a team-up movie. It's one of those movies, kind of like Hellboy and Captain America, where it takes the superhero style, so you have these characters that have superpowers or whatever, and turns it into something else.
I don't think
it's
anyone
not
even
a
have
superhero.
superpowers.
It's not even a superhero movie. It's a sci-fi action adventure. It's what it is.
What I really liked about it was that it maintained action, comedy, and the actual story itself. It had those three things working in conjunction instead of separating them out into different portions of the movie, like most superhero movies do. Like, there will be some parts you have to laugh at, some parts that are action, some parts that are serious storylines. But in this, it's like they're all infused really well.
Exactly.
And like there's like action going on, but then Star-Lord starts singing and dancing to the bad guy.
Exactly. Like at the most climactic scene, he just starts, doing a little dance to distract the guy, and it just throws it all off. You're like, I did not see that coming.
Exactly. It's one of those. It's like you said, Wade. It's one of those movies that perfectly paces the humor, the action, and the whole.
I don't think it paces
story.
it. I think it blends it perfectly.
Yeah. Well, it's pacing. You're pacing it out, and putting it where it needs to be, and not having it to where some movies suffer from it being really choppy. Like it'll be like action, and then some quippy little funny dialogue at the end.
Yeah, Tank Girl would fall into that category.
Yeah, where this is, I think one of the perfect scenes that shows it is the first big action scene, which is the escape from the prison, and the first thing
Which was hilarious.
Which is hilarious because of the way it's paced and set up. It's where they're all doing their thing to get out of the prison, and Rocket comes up with the crazy demand, I need that leg.
And of course the leg doesn't serve an actual purpose.
But he does get the leg.
You just think it's funny, and it kind of sets up the rest of the movie of it being this whole great blend. Yes. And it was also a surprise hit, I think.
It was a huge surprise hit. Although it did have the most disappointing end credit scene.
Why? What did you expect?
It was just Howard the Duck and a tree.
I was expecting like something that would service the continuing story.
It did. It had There's something in that end credit scene that shows where the story is going.
Yeah, but only if you're a comic book. I know what you're talking about, but only if you've like read the comics or you like do deep research into it.
Well, I think that's who they're catering to, that particular audience. I mean, because most people in general wouldn't even know who Guardians of the Galaxy are. Because
I don't think like anyone really knew who Guardians. Like even comic book readers were like, "Who?"
Yeah, I was a little shocked myself. I was like, wait a minute, I haven't heard of these guys, but I want to see it anyway.
I had only heard of them because of Avengers Assemble, I think it was, the Disney show. And like they popped up and I was like, oh, they're kind of interesting.
It's one of the good things Disney has done with the franchise there. So like they've really made it so that they can introduce different parts of different series and characters that wouldn't normally get any airtime if Marvel just had the label themselves.
Yeah. Right. Alright. So that brings us to number 1.
The movie that killed everything. Destroyed everything, and has now created this new gigantic clusterfuck of.
I think it's the reason that people are actually now excited for superhero movies.
Which kind of made it more alive, but at the same time killed it in the same sense.
Yeah.
Because it made it mainstream, like full-blown mainstream.
It's also the reason why we're getting all these mashup movies.
And that is, of course, Avengers.
Right. So Avengers is the reason why DC is doing Batman vs. Superman. It's the reason why they've planned out their whole, like, whatever, how many phases they're calling it, movie plot thing.
But, I mean, it was still a great movie. You mixed, what, 7 characters? 6 characters?
Well, if you count, like, the supporting cast, it's a shitload, including Nick Fury and the rest of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Well, I'm just
if you
counting...
count the main characters, you have Iron Man, Thor, Cap, Hulk,
Black Widow, Hawkeye.
So
then
6. you would have to. Then you would have to.
I'm only including the ones who are in that awesome round circle shot in the battle.
True, because that's where they really capitalize on which characters are the main focus.
This is like these are the Avengers. Those 6 people.
I guess so. I'd more or less count Maria Hill and Nick Fury in that too,
and then Coulson.
Not really. Coulson is one of those characters where he's meant to be...
You were made to care about him enough that when he died, you actually were like, I liked him, though. Why did they kill him?
Well, they did that a lot better than the XMen series did with that guy who morphed in the 90s animated. It's like, I don't even got to go into that. But...
Yeah. The reason why Coulson is there is he's supposed to be the one that's most grounded. You know what I mean? He's the one we relate to the most.
Yeah.
Because... he's reacting the way we would react.
Mm-hmm. He seems the most human in that respect.
Exactly.
He's the human tie, and then once he dies, you kind of the only tie the actual audience has is like through the victims of the attack.
It kind of severed that connection in a way, which I guess is what.
But
they're
I mean,
going
that's
for.
like it's like, but that was the point was like make you feel.
Hit you right in the feels.
That was the point of Coulson's death.
I think that's a good movie. I think Avengers 2 might top it. It's really hard to say with all the characters we're gonna have. That's what scares me about Marvel's lineups in the next couple years. Is
they're gonna keep adding more and more to the mix.
There's gonna be too many characters.
There's going to be a lot, and it's going to take an amazing director to juggle all of these characters.
It's hard to give a lot of people focus when you have too many in one show. I've noticed that problem with a lot of different TV shows.
That's what XMen suffered from.
Mm-hmm.
If you think about it,
By the
XMen
third
Last
movie,
Stand.
You've got
Their
so many
big
mutants,
downfall.
It's like how do I connect any of these guys if I can't get any screen
It
time?
was how do we focus on the X-Men and the Brotherhood with all these different characters
But
and
then
make
at
you
the
care.
But then at the same time, we don't really care about anyone else because Hugh Jackman.
But I care.
Like
There
people
was-
wanted
there are
to see
certain
more of
characters-
certain things, but they were like, no, Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, which is stupid. There were characters that I wish we saw in the X-Men movie that we won't ever see.
Yeah,
Because Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Nightcrawler and Gambit are like my main men, so not seeing a lot of screen time for
They
them is
destroyed
good.
Gambit in Wolverine Origins.
And Nightcrawler will never be in another movie directed by Brent Reznor or whatever the guy's fucking name is because they don't like each other.
Which is unfortunate because Nightcrawler is a loved character. But alright, we have set our top 9s. So everyone say goodbye to the nice people.
Goodbye, nice people. This
Wait.
guy's flipping you off. But
Wyatt, they cannot see you flipping them off. Peace out, guys.